So Karen, you can start now.
Okay, so I think we will start, and in between, I think others, if they will join. Means recording anyway is there, so they can look into that recording. So from yesterday session means we have covered the web services and adapters. There were few questions which were open. So one question was around through notification, can we have a direct call to a service? So answer is no, we cannot have it. It is only via publication document. But I will show you, share my screen. So my screen is visible. So I will show you one configuration which we can do is publish locally. So even if we don't have or messaging layer connected, if we do a publish locally, what will happen is internally the message will be received, it will be published, and it will be subscribed by a subscriber or the trigger present in the same instance of the integration server. That means if anything happens to this instance of the integration server, that message is logged there. So in publish subscribe mechanism, what happens is whenever we publish a document, and if there are cluster of IS servers are available and there are triggers configured in each IS server, any one of them can pick it up and work on it. But when we do a publish locally, that will not happen. It will be only the local trigger will subscribe to it and work on it. So that is one option where we can, if we don't have a messaging layer, this publish locally, we can check it, and that way we can work it out. But still, publish will happen and subscription will happen. The code will remain same if we use messaging or not, messaging layer or not. I think that is one question. Another question was around, can we have array or struct or table kind of data structure can be used via store procedures? Store procedure template, we cannot, but with store procedure with signature template, we can use it, but only restriction limitation is there that it has to be the data type should be a Java data type. Then only it will be. Any proprietary data type or anything is there, it is not supported. So hope these two I have answered it. Another question was around handler. Can we have a handler implementation demo?
Again, Karen, related to this Java type.
Sorry.
Can you repeat this store procedure parameters related to the data table? What do you mean by Java types? Is it in string, binary?
The data types like arrays or integer, string, or anything, or structures. What is the Java structures? What we have defined. Those, if it is the Java data types, that is supported. If table is, I am not check the table, but table, it is defined as a structure in Java. So if that structure is as per Java data type, in store procedure with signature, we can use that.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the two, and just another request was, can we have a demo around handler, how to use it? So I have prepared a demo for it. Just I will show you that how to create how to use a handler to have a custom header or manipulate, add a custom header and play with it. So to do that, the scenario what I have taken is, let's say there is a web service we have configured, and this web service takes the request and calls the another uh, service and respond back to our consumer. In that, what we want to do, we want to introduce a header at the header level, like time, and in the request and the response, we will capture the time in both the request and response level, and we will do a difference to find out how much time it has taken it, and then we will add this custom header in our response message. So that is the scenario which I have taken it. So to do that, what we need to first do is define a document type, just whatever we want to add it in the header or in the custom header. So I'll just define a time data and taken time, added a time string in that. I have also given a universal name to it, a namespace and a local name to it, so that I will use this while registering my handler. So these are the two only in the document type I have defined this. Then I have created one handler request service, and I have created a handler response service. So handler request service is, I can, whenever this handler is invoked, whatever I want to do it in this service, I will write it. And in handler response service, whatever while in the response, I want to play with the headers or body, anything, I will do it there. Here, only one thing right now I will tell you that when I have defined this, I have used a spec. So this spec is present in our WM public, and this spec will be used. So the moment we use the spec, input and outputs are already defined. So where message context is given to this service, and that means the whole message is here, and the outputs are status code and fault message. Same way handler response, the same thing has been defined with the handler spec. Once we have defined this, we can register the handler. To register a handler, we have register WM provider and register WM consumer. I am doing it for provider, so I will use this service register WM provider. How to use that service? I'll show you. I created a service, register handler service, where I have called that register WM provider. The things what I have given perform the any name to identify the handler. So this is a custom name which I have been given by the user or the developer. Then the namespace, what I have defined in the document, that namespace and the local name. So whatever I have defined it in time data, I have defined it here. And I have told this is my request service and this is my response service. So, and fault service also we can define it. Right now I have defined these two. Once I have registered this service, I'll come to my actual math service yesterday, what we have created with the add and multiply number. Same service I came to the handler. And once we register in here, the drop down will show me the perform service timing. The name, the custom name, what I have given in registering the handler, that name will come. So I have added that. Once we add that, I will get an option to add that document type here. So it will be like, I can, here if I go click here. So this is the document type which I can add it, and it will get added. So same, I have done it for add number in the response. Then I will show you the logic what I have written in handler service and the handle response service. So whenever message comes in the request service, I have just taken a nano time, that is the current time, and I am setting a property. So I've given the whole message context to it. I've defined a key called start time, and I have provided that value to it. Then in response thing, I'm again taking that current time, retrieving the value what I have set it in the request. So it is just there it was set property, here it was get property, where I will provide the key that was start time and saving that in the start time. And in math, I'm just subtracting those two and getting the time mapped here. So you will see that this is a document which is came here. So once we have registered the handler, what we have to do is generate the documents which will generate. So there is one more service. Generate documents. Generate document types from WSDL. So here we have to just run this service by giving the WSDL and where to generate our document types. So this is the package I have given and the target folder name I have given, and generate only the header document type I have given it true. So once I run this, the documents will get generated automatically. So these are the document types which got generated from there. And that I have taken this document and mapped the value to it. So this is the actual document which will get mapped to my message. So after getting that document type populated, I am adding the header at the header level. So I have used a add header block, SOAP handler header block. This is again another service which I have in the SOAP, same place, pub.soap handler, where I have passed the message context, provided which document type to it, and mapped the LS, that same document to the header document. And this is now got mapped. Now I will take this web service and call it via SOAP UI. I should be able to get a new header block in my response message. So same thing, I have just taken that map web service configured here, and I will call it. So this elapsed time gets added to my header block. So that is, there are a lot of steps which we need to do it to add a header into it. So these detailed steps are written in our web methods document. So if we follow one by one, so we can easily do it. So there are multiple internal APIs needs to be called to generate document, to register a handler, to unregister a handler, and those kind of things. So this is how it works. So I think these were the open items from yesterday's discussion. So we will come to today's topic. So today's topic is around messaging, PubSub and JMS, then triggers and caching services. So in messaging, we will be covering like web methods messaging provided, that is our universal messaging, how it supports pub/sub mechanism. Know various messaging patterns, what we have. Then we will see how to publish document and understand what are the properties are there in the publishable document. Then how to subscribe the messages. There is one more scenario, I think in first day 1 or day 2, we have discussed around when we discussed like there is a one request and we want to publish it to multiple subscriber and work in concurrent way and then receive the message back. So that implementation also I have prepared a demo for it. We will also, once we have finished this, we will also go through that. So mostly means messaging, there are few capabilities it will come with, where it will will provide us a capability of publishing and subscribing. That means I can make it as a asynchronous call as well as synchronous. Synchronous in a way like publish and wait or request and reply. I can make that. With this, what advantages we are getting is it is a loosely coupled code. It is not dependent on if any system is down or something like that. My publishing services will not get impacted because my messaging layer will provide a storage capability where we can mark it as a guaranteed messages, or it is a volatile message that I can mark it based on the, if it is a guaranteed, it will be stored in the messaging layer. If it is a volatile and subscriber is not there, it will get discarded when the TTL is means reached. TTL is time to live. And there are two ways what we can do utilize this feature is, one is the native way of doing it. That means web methods messaging will be used. Another is the JMS way, where we can connect to a JNDI provider and try to we will publish a JMS message and receive messages from there. Earlier, this web methods messaging feature was provided with the web methods broker, which is now deprecated and not recommended for new developments, but still that product exists. Now only universal messaging is available. So it is just about universal messaging. It is available. It is an end-to-end delivery real-time data application, which is available, which works across multiple delivery channels. It supports multiple languages, and I mean, this is means performance-wise, it is very good, and it has a capability of it can get into clustering mode where we can set it up as active passive or an active active. So active passive means even if my active universal messaging goes down, the passive comes up automatically and it starts catering to the messages. In active active, load is shared, means if it is one will be master and others will be worker nodes, and whenever the messages are coming, it will get distributed across the nodes. With active active, it is also like that. If any server goes down in between, the other servers will be working on that, and another server will take it the master role, and there will be the other servers will take master and worker load. And that clustering works on a quorum based clustering. That means minimum 3 nodes is needed, and active active cluster will be set up. This is just a summary. Means web methods broker is deprecated. It is recommended to use our web methods native way of messaging, and means just an advantage around high volume, low latency, advanced fault tolerance. As I have spoken about active passive clustering, there is a active clustering, which we come, and this product is cloud ready. And it supports both webMethods native iData and the JMS kind of features. So just to give a background around it, means earlier days when universal messaging was not there, webMethods broker being used. So we have a few services called pub.publish. So this is a native way of publishing a document. So now webMethods broker has gone, universal messaging came in. So we didn't change the service. So this is the same service which is getting used. Only the messaging layer has changed. So code remains same. Still it uses the new messaging layer. So pub.publish, when we are using it, is a native way of using webMethods messaging. And when we are using JMS send, that means we are using the JMS way of messaging. And this publish mechanism proprietary to Software AG and webMethods. Just a recommendation, if we are working on it, best way, like we should be using the webMethods native way of connectivity, unless there is a reason to have a JMS way of connectivity. So in publish subscribe mechanism, we have multiple messaging patterns. So it is like one publisher and multiple subscribers. That is, a publisher means a client who publishes the document, and the same document needs to be subscribed by all the publisher. So here also it is like the independent applications will be called as subscribers. So they will have their own trigger and they will be subscribing to it. So this messaging pattern is supported, which I will show you in the demonstration, where a publisher will publish the document and we can subscribe it in multiple subscribers. Then second is around publish and wait, where a publishes the message, and then later point of time it will wait for the response, and subscriber works on that request and then sends a reply back. So this is a publish and wait scenario. This is another pattern. Then there is a delivered pattern where publisher tells that a specific subscriber only should receive this message. No one else should do it. So here publisher is instructing when it is publishing the request that you go only to that subscriber. So that is a third pattern which we have. Same way, there is means this is a asynchronous way of working, and deliver and wait is a synchronous way of working, that we have delivered it and we are waiting for a response to be received, and then we can go back. Subscribing means that is all about the publisher side, what we have seen, and the subscribers means receiving the published document, what has been published. It has to be the same document it published. We have to subscribe. I will get into the demo. So these are the main APIs which are available in our integration server WM public folder, which we can use it to means implement these kind of patterns. I'll get into the demonstration. The first thing in in the integration server, there is a messaging field where there is a web method settings. If you come here, we can configure a default messaging layer which can be used. So only one messaging connections we can use it for an integration server. So always by default, integration server can connect to only one web methods messaging layer. If we want to connect to multiple messaging layer, that is only possible via JNDI. There we can have multiple JNDI setups, and we can connect to multiple JNDI providers. So what is one connection means that, because when we are using pub.publish, I am not defining any connection parameter there which needs to be used. It is by default, it will be using whatever is selected as default here. And when we define, it is only that URL has been given. And if it is a clustered where multiple UMs are there, we will add semicolon and other URLs here. So even if one goes down, it will try to work with others. Enable CSQ means if, let's say, if a single UM is connected, it goes down and our publishes the document. What it will do is it will create a client-side queue where it will store the data till my UM messaging layer or the universal messaging comes out. And once that comes up, it will start publishing the document from the CSQ. That is the client-side queue. And there is a CSQ order it has given. So whatever order it has received, it will send in the same order to the messaging layer. Size also we can define it. Unlimited is not permitted in production because there is a disk space size which we can go. So we have to give a proper CSQ size so that it will not bring down the server. So this is the messaging or universal messaging setting. We do it, and this is how IS connects to UM. Now, once it is connected, I can just give me a minute.
بتاعتك بتاعتك دي
No, I will just have water and. Sorry for that. Just a throat infection. Okay, so I will just close this. So first thing, when we do a messaging, so we need to define a document what I need to publish it. So to define a document, it is just I will go create a document type. It's a training. I just created it. Finish. Or any number of fields I can add it. So here I can create it via an XSD. Even if we have a DTD or XSD provided, directly I can use that while creating the document, and the whole structure will come here. So till now it is a normal document.
Can we import this from JavaScript JSON file to create this document?
So these are the only ways which is available here. JSON is also there. JSON, XML schema, DTD, XML.
Okay, but this is JSON. It is request. It is JSON.
Message. Then like XML, it is a direct value. It is actual XML, and here also it is the actual JSON message.
Okay. He can detect the attributes and generate the document automatically.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So this is a normal. Till now, this is a normal document type. It is not a publishable. So the main thing, what makes it as a publishable is when we come to a property called web methods messaging and make it publishable. If we make it that is true, then I will also show you some properties here. A connection name and alias I will show you once I save it. It will directly automatically detect it and publish this. Discard. Discard means I can make it true. Then I have to provide a time to live. So this publishable document, whenever I publish it, it will wait for that much time in the messaging layer. Once that TTL is achieved, it will discard the document. So if it's true, then only we can define the time to live. Then the important is storage type, guaranteed or volatile. Guaranteed document means it is persisted in the disk. That means any disaster, any server crash or anything happens in integration server side or a side, it is persisted. If we bring it up at later point of time, it will take it from the disk and work on it. That another thing is even my subscriber is down, whenever it will come up, it will receive that document. Volatile means it will publish the document. If subscriber is not available, it will discard it based on it will discard the document. Later point of time, if my subscriber comes up, it will not receive the message. Mostly we can think as a broadcasting of messages kind of thing. It is a broadcasting kind of thing. We use it for as a volatile whenever we need to broadcast something. Doesn't matter subscriber receives it or not. So that kind of scenario we use it. So once I have made it as publishable and save this, this will take my default connection alias name, what is the type of it, and what is the definition where it exists. So these are the few parameters which will make this document as publishable. So now automatically the moment it gets become publishable, environment document gets added to it. So these are the properties used by integration server and universal messaging to means communicate between each other. So there are few other properties which we will look into it, like tag, reply to and all, which will be used in my publish and wait and send reply scenarios. And there is also a priority tag, which we can set it up, whichever has a higher priority. Means if I have sent it to a queue and I have increased the priority, that message will get subscribed first, and then other messages will get subscribed by the subscribing system. So now this document became publishable. So I have just created another document type. It is the same thing like order ID prod, and I have made it. Then I will come to my publish order. I have created one publish order where just I'm using pub.publish. So here nothing. I've just dragged up this order document. This is what it has been defined. And I have mapped to the document here. and given a document type name. So that is just means you can right click, copy and paste it here. It will be the exact namespace, means we are just giving the namespace of the document type. So this service will publish the document to our default what we have configured. Now once we have published this, we need to subscribe this document in a another service and then work on it. So this is asynchronous. Now publish is done. This service doesn't wait for anything. This service is completed. Now what I have done to subscribe this document, I have created a trigger. So trigger is again right click here, new, web methods messaging trigger. Let's say to finish. So I need to call a subscribing service. So means I have created subscribers here. I can just go here, select any subscriber, and then give a document type to it. Again, come here. So whatever document I have created, I'll choose that and it will come. So now document has been given. So if this document get published in this messaging layer, then this is the subscriber. Messaging layer should pick this document and provide this to this service, subscribe service. So that is what it is. The condition has been given here. So I have created this order. So where I have given the same service name and the order document. In subscriber service, I have just done a debug log. Like order received, and I have mapped to the order ID, what is coming up. So in subscriber service, again, what we have to do, we have to subscribe to the same document. I've taken it here and used it in my mapping. So this is why I have used with the percentile is I need to concat this two statement. This is a hard coded statement, and I need to use the order ID. So I'll come to publish and run this service. Yeah, I will not save that. Can give any number and publishes. So this service is, and it has only done a publish and came out finish. Now my subscriber service should have got invoked. In logs. Yep. So that debug log has been invoked. So this is the easiest way publish subscribe what can be achieved via means through the web methods native way. Few things I want to highlight here. So this is when we create a trigger, it always be enabled false. So we have to enable this trigger. Another thing here, if there is one publisher and I create multiple subscribers for the same document, only one subscriber will receive it. Means subscriber means with the same document. So one will receive it and it will work on it. So this means the web methods native way of working, it works on queue mechanism. So it is like one message came in and whoever the subscriber first, it will pick it up, it will process it and sends it. So that is the mechanism. Another few properties which you can look at here is the capacity, refill, and acknowledgement queue size. So this is the these are the parameters which is used between trigger and universal messaging. So what it says is that when let's say this trigger is available, means a lot of messages is coming in our publisher. So publisher, this is running like 500 threads are running at a time. But I don't want 500 threads to be invoked in my target system. So what I will do is I'll make processing mode concurrent, but I can give some only 10 threads to run. So even if my publisher is sending 500 messages, I will be working with only 10 messages at a time. So that is how you we can throttle the processing based on my target system. So that is one area. And the capacity, refill, and acknowledgement, it is like when we are communicating with, or trigger is communicating with universal messaging, it always picks up the 10 message. It doesn't go and pick up only one message at a time. It picks 10 messages, keeps it in the memory and process it. Refill level is 4, means the moment this 10 messages has reached the level 4, means 6 messages has been processed, it will go back and refill back with another 6 messages. So the moment it touch 4, go and refill it. And as it is a two different application, like the acknowledgement also has to be sent back to the universal messaging so that it will start deleting that messages. If successfully subscribed, we will send the acknowledgement back to the universal message that you delete this message. We no longer, it is already subscribed. So that also, if I do one by one, that means every message has been received, we worked on it, and acknowledgement is sent. So it takes some network bandwidth at that time. So what we can do is we can increase the queue size, that we process 10, send acknowledgement for 10 queues at a time. So that is how we can increase the queue size. So these are mostly used for tuning the performance. Message processing is to use for throttling the overall flow. Like if 500 messages are coming, we will stop it there. My storage at universal messaging will be increasing, but my target system is not impacted. So we will be processing slowly and based on the target system capacity. There are same way in our flow services. What we had is like fatal error. Any end system is not available. I can make it as true so that it will stop the trigger itself. It will disable the trigger, suspend the trigger so that this services doesn't work continuously and throw error. Let's say means I have written a subscriber order service. I have received this message and I have to make a web service call to the target system. if let's say timeout errors are coming up or host not found or something like that, messages are returning back, what it will happen if there is a try catch block. In catch block, I am capturing the error and putting into my audit framework or any logging mechanism where stating that this error has happened. In that way, my message is lost. Lost means it came, we send it to target system came back and told that it is system not available. We write it to the log and we forgot. Now, if my target system comes back at later point of time, only option to repeat the message is to ask the publishing system to publish the data again. Instead, what we can do is we can configure this property, suspend on error. So what we can do is the moment errors started happening, we will go and suspend my trigger so that my subscription part doesn't work. All publishing messages are getting published and getting stored in our universal or the messaging layer, universal messaging layer. It will be stored there. It will be, if it is guaranteed, it will be there. Whenever my system comes up, we can retry it again. We can also automate this process. Like whenever error happens, we will suspend the trigger and we can configure a resource monitoring service. So in this resource monitoring service, we can write a ping kind of service, which will go and ping my target system is available or not. Whenever there is a success, it will come back and enable my trigger and the processing starts. So that is few of the properties which we can use it. Another one I will just let you know, detect duplicates. So this detect duplicate.
Excuse me, before moving from this resource monitoring services, what you mean by pinging service? It is as a command line ping, or what kind of service you need to specify here?
So let's say my target system is being called by a web service or any HTTP call. So we will
Okay,
ask
like health monitor endpoint.
Health monitor. So I can
Okay,
write
so
anything in this. Means my subscribing order connects to let's say web services. So I will ask that application, can you provide me another service which is a ping kind of thing, where I can ping that web service is available, your application health check kind of service that I can write it
okay,
in my
it is
resource monitor.
it should yani, what is the value it should be added here? Is this the URL of this hand check or a curl query or
No.
what kind of resource I need to?
So this is another flow service. Means
Okay,
we write another resource monitoring service. And that flow service should return me success.
so
So
after
say,
referring to this service, it should it expecting true or false,
yes,
your success and fail, or yani,
flow
how is
service
this
success.
service monitor will detect this is the service is available? Okay, it will consume the service.
Correct. So this resource monitor service I will configure in my resource monitoring service. Now, this service, flow service, if it is let's say it is empty, that means the moment I run it, it will give me true. If I have called a web service or I have a throw exception here,
Okay.
I should not catch it. If I throw that exception, it will send false signal to it. So that means my trigger will not go back and enable the trigger.
So
If my flow service
the value,
execution,
if the value it is resource monitoring service, the value it should be added in this property. It is the flow service name only.
only the flow service name, and my successful run of a flow service is considered as true. And if my flow service is throwing a runtime error, it is considered as false. So no other value we have to fix it. It is only, I will copy. And paste. So it is the flow service which takes up here. So nothing else we will provide it. So this is mostly used whenever we want to automate the suspend and enable of the triggers. So suspend and enable, I will ensure. So whatever triggers we are creating it get created here. So I can suspend any triggers here, activate, suspend. The moment I suspend it, subscription stops. So there is no subscription happening from the messaging layer. And once I come back, I can enable it. So that is the part resource monitoring does it automatically. Yep, you got the point.
No. Maybe I missed something, but no. Okay.
Okay. So my trigger is enabled or disabled. So here is the enable disable property. So right now, first time my trigger is enabled, and it is the if enabled means any message comes to my uh, queue. So I will show you the queue also. This is so whatever documents I'm preparing means it will create a queue here. So now I'll this. I'll go and disable this trigger. Start. Okay, which one? So I will start publishing messages here. So here message came in. So whatever I have published, that is, I can see it. And now once I subscribe it, should be subscribed from their place. Give me status of subscription. So these many published and these many consumed. So that is the one. Now, what I was explaining is this enable disable. Now I'm doing it manually. Now, if I have to do it automatically, if there is an error is happening. So what we do is we go and configure. If there is an error, we configure a resource monitoring service. Under that, we write our custom logic. Whatever the custom logic is, it will execute that flow service. And if it is successful, that means it will return a true. It will come back and gives back to the trigger and enable it. So that is how it will work. If suspend on true is that if any error happens, it will go and suspend the trigger. So I think this is being implemented, I think, in one of your services. They can means show that exactly how it is being done. I think only one publish subscribe mechanism which Natarajan is right now implementing it. So that is it. Hope you are able to got it. Should we proceed further?
Okay, proceed. Okay, proceed.
Okay. So next is detect duplicates. So this is not detect duplicates for business data. This is detect duplicates if there is a miscommunication between the universal messaging and the subscriber or our trigger. Let's say it has published a document has happened. It came to universal messaging, and then our subscription trigger has subscribed it, but not acknowledged back. And then there is a one server crashed or something. So what will happen is if there is any other trigger which is available, it will subscribe that message and start processing it. So in that scenario, it will be a duplicate processing happening in two instances of my integration server. So this, if we make it true, it will go and check my publishable documents ID. So there is an activation ID. So this is there. So this ID is means when we make that as true, it will get stored in a database and it will be checked against that. If there is an entry, it will tell that it is a duplicate message. If it is not there, it will process that document. So this is used only for internal communication between universal messaging and uh, integration server. Okay. Another flow I wanted to show is, and disable this. Enable our The use case which we have spoke earlier, the one publish and multiple subscriber if they are subscribing it. And I will just hold on. So again here, written it. Mostly I'm directly using the services here, but whenever we write it, we should have a try catch block and then we should write it. So just for our easy reference, I have taken it here. So what I am doing it here is I have taken the input order document and published that. And I have used publish and wait. That means there should be a wait step later point of time in our execution. So I just published, forgot about what has happened, and we proceeded with next step. Then what I did is I have another document called product. I have published that document, and later point of time I'm waiting for it. So here, whenever we publish it, it gives me a tag that I can save it whenever I am waiting for that response. I give that tag ID to it and wait for the reply. So right now what has happened in this flow is I have received the document, I have published to the universal messaging and using publish and wait, and I'm waiting for a reply. Same way waiting for a reply from the subscriber too. So I have used another tag and waiting for it. So I have two subscribers defined. So it is just receiving the message. I return that it is order received here. Nothing else is just publish the response. So I have created a response document and mapped the response and publishing it, replying it back. Same way in subscriber 2, I received and I am using publish.reply, and I can send any response back to it. Trigger, no changes. It is means two triggers are created. So for subscriber 1, there is one trigger, and there is subscriber 2, there is another trigger has been created, and specific document types has been given. Now if I run this, so both messages should have been received by both the subscriber, and I have also received back the received document that we have received the message. And I can see the logs. So the order has been sent and it is received by subscriber 1. Then it is received by subscriber 2, and they have responded back. So these messages are from the publisher side. We have debugged it. So this is the debug log in the publisher service, what we have written. So receive document message, and whatever the message is here. So this is the pattern which I was explaining on the day 1, where we have one request and multiple subscribers, and how we can use publish and wait and send reply mechanism. There also in our Java code, it was again a session ID or the thread ID, which we are keeping track of it and getting the response. It is in the same way here also it is working. Only thing, universal messaging is coming in between, which is giving a guaranteed delivery of the messages. Is this, did you got the pattern?
Yes, for this second pattern, it is publish and wait.
Correct.
The only benefit for this, it is guarantees the message has been delivered to the consumer.
Yes.
Okay, so, but what happened if this is adding like retry and I'm keeping the message inside the queue and the subscribers try again to pick this up the message and contact the back end system to deliver the message, and it takes too long, and the connection and this reply, it is important for the consumer to get the notification it's already the message has been received or served successful, and not sending this message again to the endpoint. What will happen here? If it take too long time and the timeout happen between the consumer of the service and the publisher API.
Yep. So when we are working with synchronous way of working, where my consumer has sent a message and it has a timeout, so that everything should work within that timeout. Otherwise, that message should be discarded. So for that, we have to mention my wait time. So here it is like a wait time. I will wait for this much time. Otherwise, I will not. I will just remove the thread. Means that wait for reply. It will not. It will just kill the thread. It will come out. Same way, once we have published it, TTL time to live we need to define in our publishable document. So if I start from if consumer is waiting for 60 seconds, I should not wait for 60 seconds in my wait for reply. It should be again some 50 seconds I will wait for here, and TTL should be defined around 50 seconds. So within 50 seconds, if the response is coming back, then we will respond it back. If it is taking more than 50 seconds, discard the document from everywhere. So that is synchronous. If it is asynchronous way of that, if whatever happens, means a message request has come from my consumer and we have sent him a response that we have received it successfully. We are just giving him a message that we have received it successfully. Processing information is not been given. In that case, my first publish kind of service will be used. We receive the request, we publish it to UM, and if this is successful, that means my message is guaranteed. Now, let's say my subscribing end is down. It comes up after 1 hour. Once it comes up, it will receive the document. Once it is received, we have to write another flow of response. So there also we will receive back the response, push it into a queue, subscribe it, and send a response back. So it will be two different flows which will create is one for request message, another independent flow which will be for response message, where we are making sure that messages are guaranteed. We are not going to lose any message in between. So that is how the two different implementation happen. If we are going with synchronous, time to live, wait time, timeout, these three things will come up and discard of message will happen.
So if I'm using this as publish wait and allow this timeout and the discard activity, it is act like normal API, like synchronous API from the يعني point of view of the consumer. He didn't see what's happened behind. He just sends the message. I'm trying to send the push it and try to deliver, but I cannot. I discard the message. So he also discard this traffic, and he will get a notification like back in the down or back in the try again later, something like this, right?
Correct.
Type. For the other services, it can be and how this pattern enhances and the scalability of the service. And if the service is working in normal way, and if I'm using this pattern against the sync pattern in the direct flow, if this one can provide advantage more than the original one or the default one, which it is direct flow.
No. So okay. So scalability, those kind of things, it will be more easily achievable with the direct flow, where there is a API to API call and responses going back.
Okay.
In this way, scalability will be a question mark. There will be a performance also will be a question mark, because we have introduced another component in between. Hop is increasing.
Mhm.
This pattern is only used if for a time period we want to have a guaranteed messaging. So that is how it should be looked upon. It should not be compared with our API to API call. API to API call is scalable. It is more performance efficient than this. This is only when there is a pub sub pattern is needed, where a throttling need is there. Let's say my publisher can publish at a point of time, means the moment the day starts, they publish 500 messages, but later point of time they doesn't do, or every hour they publishes 500 messages. In that thing, I will just throttle this, and my end system cannot take 500 messages at a time. So I will just throttle this to like 50 messages subscriber will publish, and slowly I will give it back. And my wait time to live, I will give within 30 minutes, you process this 500 messages and respond it back. So there are scenarios like currency rates or something that we publish, or Forex currency rates when we publish it, that every hour they publish the huge list of currency exchange rates. And for next 1 hour, they don't publish, and another hour they publish it. So huge amount of message comes, we publish it. Any system which we have, we can subscribe it, work on it. And then after 1 hour, again, we will receive that huge volume. And my subscription system only caters to 50 threads at a time. So that is where throttling need is coming into picture. This will be helpful. If there is no throttling need, and direct end-to-end API to API is there, and my subscription system is well enough to cater to that kind of load, APIs are best for them. So throttling means you would have seen this. I can just reduce, like, even if 500 messages are coming, I will reduce this to 1 or 10, 15, whatever number I want. So only those many messages will be processed by the subscription system or the target system. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. And this processing mode, also there are two types of processing mode: serial and concurrent. So concurrent with one, that means if it is a single instance, it will work like a serial. A serial thing means there is no concurrent processing. What is coming first it will get processed first and the later one will get processed. So order is maintained. But the moment we make this as a clustered environment and still processing mode is concurrent, what will happen is 2 instances of IS, which is clustered, means both the codes are available there. This trigger will also be available in both the integration server. And it is being written as concurrent and one. That means 2 threads are running. If my 2 instances are running, 2 threads. If 4 instances, 4 threads are running. So there are still 4 parallel processing of my message is happening. Let's say I have a need of sequencing the incoming message. So I can choose serial as a processing mode. Serial processing mode means even if I am in clustered environment, 4 instances of IS, only one IS will be working at a time. And it will be processing the message in a serial order. It will maintain the order, how it has been published by the publisher side. It is the same order will be taken and given it to the subscription. And this is mostly used in a scenario or technical scenario. I will tell it like audit logging. Means if we are logging the whole life cycle of a payment, that it has been published by one application one, we will just send a message like, okay, application one processed it. Then application two has processed it, then send it. And my same order should be maintained when it is entered into my audit database or audit database. So that whenever a support guy looks into it, he will look that, yes, each and every step has been taken in an order. So that is one example when we use SQL. Any database related stuff where serial and order is important, we use that. But remember that even if I have 4 integration server in cluster, still only one integration server is running and processing that if we make it serial. And order will be based on my publisher. So publish order is also, we have to look from a perspective like, okay, this publish order, if I have multiple instances and I've exposed an API and from let's say they are calling via load balancer, and with load balancer, if it touches my integration server at same time, my first message it has published to integration one, second message published to integration server 2. If integration server 2 publishes the message first to the so that will be considered as my first message in the subscription, and publish in integration server 1 message will be taken later. So publishing order is maintained in the subscription end. In that case, we have to have a means in those scenarios, what we have to do in load balancer, when we are configuring our integration server, we need to configure with a sticky policy, so that only one IS server is being used to publish the documents. Hope you understand the sequencing flow. So it has to be sequenced from the load balancer to integration server and then to universal messaging and then our subscriber. So this is how the serial flow will work. Did you got the point? Any questions around this?
Yes, but I see it is يعني a dedicated solution. You know, you need to design or setting up all parties from the load balancer, from the gateway up to from the integration server to the queue to the subscriber. You
Yep,
see,
it is.
I feel like it is not it is not applicable, or
not a pattern which is widely used or very specific
Yes.
scenarios.
Yeah.
This scenario we have seen it only in means in my experience in banking system where there are ATM transactions were happening. So they just wanted to capture the that too in a issue scenario. They wanted to capture like what is the order things are happening in the whole flow. So that's where we have done it, but not
I
a very
see.
popular pattern which is getting used.
Right.
But means from the pattern perspective, it also exists if we are bringing in because these questions comes in the moment messaging layer enters, it becomes a asynchronous, means my publisher is in one module and subscription in another module. So we have to build a link between these two when messaging layer is coming in between. Otherwise, they work independently. And one more thing, I have created all publishers and subscriber in a single instance. I can have different IS instances, means I can have only one IS instance where every like a front-end integration server, which will just receive the message and publishes to And then I have a second IS, which is subscription system, which picks up the message, process it, and keeps it. So it is not a recent pattern. Earlier days, if you have seen that batch processing or there is a front end and a back end systems, we divide our whole integration server into two parts and put a messaging layer in between. So mostly ETL kind of or any that kind of sync up things which is happening. Means they will just publish the documents, you process it slowly, and your other integration server should be busy in processing it slowly and pushing it, syncing up some application. So these are the earlier days, these scenarios used to come, sync up data between two systems. So this is these patterns is used at that time. So I think this is the one. So publish wait, we have seen only in deliver. It is means it is a trigger ID which we are giving it, and we are making it specific that who should receive this message. So I have shown you the storage type, guarantee and volatile. So in guarantees, data is stored in disk. In volatile, it is in memory. These properties we have gone through. Once you make publishable is true, then only it is publishable. Sometimes means let's say is down and I have done my development. So this sync up would not have happened. So we can use sync document type and it will go and create an asset inside the universal messaging. So this is right click and there is a sync document type. One tab is there which we can click and it will sync it up.
I didn't get this again.
Okay. So whatever documents I am creating in Designer. So Designer is working with integration server. So it is not connected with So integration server is connected to So when I create a document type and make it publishable, here I made it with the property publishable, true. This property. When I made this as true, At the same time, it will send the message to integration server, and integration server is connected to our and it will push that asset to universal message. So in universal messaging, this asset will get created. But some scenarios, what happens is a developer is working, and at that time integration server, let's say it is not connected with developer would have already worked upon it, but this asset we would have missed to create it. So what we can do is we can just right click it and sync document type. So it will just push to the universal messaging.
Okay, so any document, it can be synced, but the only sync option, it will enforce the document to go to the universal messaging because it is flagged as a messaging document.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what happens if there is a pending messages in the queue not processed by the subscriber while I'm changing the schema of this document and I do this thing? What will happen actually from the pending subscribed?
No. So this we are doing it when that asset itself is not available here. So that means nothing is pending here. This topic queue itself is not available.
Yeah, I get this, but if this is a different case.
Okay. So
If I have pending 100 message with a schema which it is has ID, phone number, and age. Now I need to change the design. I missed some value from this document, or adding a new property or removing a property from the document, and resubmit the document again or sync the document again. What will happen for this pending messages inside the queue?
messages will be lost.
It will
So
not processed. It will be recreate the document and
it
recreate the queue.
recreate the queue. Yeah. So it will
And
go and override the queue. So what we have is whenever we do such kind of things means. So
okay.
this is a local workstation development. So it will be a deployment, and in deployment, we give a prerequisite that all the processing would have been finished, and then deployment will happen.
So in the deployment process, if I make this option, it shouldn't deploy the document until all processes have been closed and all messages processed or the queue is empty.
Yes. So how
It is
to do
it
that?
is automated action. It is not manual. I don't have to check the services and I have to stop the services. It is automatic, right?
No. It is not automatic.
It is not
It is a
automated. So I
yeah.
need to stop the service from publishing services. I make sure no, I didn't receive any messages. Then I change the document. Then I open the service to receive the new
Correct.
message again.
Yes. So it is a outage in your environment.
Yes, it is a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this sync document type we have.
Uh, this is the scenario of the fan out of broadcasting the message, and all system should process, all subscribers should process. And no one, after the default scenario, you publish the message, and any subscriber gets this message, it will process and acknowledge the queue. It is processed, so he can remove it. Right? This is the default one.
Default web methods native messaging is queue based. So when we have a topic, we can use our JMS topic where we can publish it and multiple subscriber can subscribe it.
Okay, so any subscriber, and after all subscriber have get this message, it will remove from the queue.
Yes.
After all subscriber.
It depends on how we have done. Once I get into the JMS one, so for every subscriber, you can define a durable subscriber. If you have defined a durable subscriber, it will that document will get stored in that, and it will remove when that specific subscriber has subscribed it.
Okay.
So it is based on the durable subscription. So this is trigger, how to configure the trigger. We have seen it, connection alias name type definitions. We have seen the document namespace. When we are, this is the subscription service when we are taking it. One thing to remember that full namespace is needed for the document. We cannot just give any custom name and subscribe it. It has to be full namespace, should be the name of the document. Then only it will receive the document. This activation ID, what I have mentioned about, is a use for duplicate check or for correlation and anything which we can use it. Another way means without writing publisher or subscriber, we have a directly document. I can publish it and also test it out. Like I can do publish this document. So it will publish it to and we can test that subscription also. Like there is no subscription for this. I will. Just publish, it will go and publish it in the. This is the web methods native way. JMS almost same, only I can first show you that so that it will be easier to come back and see the slides. So JMS, whenever we are sending a message, so we have to use pub.jms send. Only difference it comes is it follows the JMS message structure. So that is the message structure we will use it. And for this, we need to create alias name, destination, and this destination type. So how to create these three things? So what we do is so whenever this is the enterprise manager to connect to universal messaging. So this is another ID which is used to connect to enterprise manager. So this is not means is not accessible via admin UI of IS or designer. We need to use enterprise manager. So create some queues. We can come to the JNDI. Means if we want to create a topic, I can create a new topic from here. I can create a new queue here and it will get created. And this topic can be used for my publishing and subscribe. So that's it. So that is the thing which we create. And then we come to IS admin page. Go to JNDI settings and configure a JNDI. So here, nothing, just we have to give a provider URL. That is our universal messaging. And if I test it out, it should give what all assets are available in that provider machine. Once JNDI is created, we need to create a connection. So same way, we just come here, create a connection as we have, I think we have seen earlier. So here we have just given a client ID connection, client ID, use the JNDI default JNDI provider. This is the alias name which we have given there and connected it. Once that is created, we just use those connection to connect to a specific destination name, that is my topic, and the type of topic. So in sender side, that's it, we have to do it. Now what I have done is I have created 2 subscribing messages. I'm just logging a message that JMS received, and in here also JMS received by subscription, JMS 2 received. So then I have created trigger. The difference between the native trigger and this is, there we were working with service name and publishable document type. With JMS, we have to work with destination name and destination type and what is the service which we want to call. So as this is a topic, I have created 2 things. We are pointing to the same topic. One is with durable subscriber, another is without durable subscriber. That means if this JMS trigger, which doesn't have durable subscriber, if it is down and if I have published a document, later point of time, if it comes up, it will not get the message. But the JMS trigger with durable subscriber will get the message because it will have that message stored in this durable subscriber. And if you see MOE topic, I have just created MOE topic, but when I have made that durable subscriber, only one durable subscriber is being shown here. Even if there are 2 subscription triggers I have created, but only one is shown. That means only for one it will store the message, for other it will not store. I will go run this flow service. It has published the message. Yep. So in this case, what we have seen, the topic is there. Both subscriber can receive the message. In web methods native way of it, if publish the message will happen, only one subscribe will subscribe it because that is queue based. In JMS, I can have queue as well as topic. In topic, both subscriber can receive the message and work on that. And the durable subscriber, what I have shown, it is, you can define for this trigger also. When we are defining the trigger type, I can change this as topic durable subscriber, then it will give a durable subscriber name and that assets will get created in the universal messaging. So this is, I think, JMS way of connecting, and same set of services are available in JMS. Send, send and wait, reply, receive. So these are the same which we had in our native way. So publish and wait, reply, those were the services which were available there, and they're here. Here, one more thing I will show you. Yesterday, I think we were speaking about this. Client acknowledges. So there's three kind of statuses are there. This is a trigger property, which I am showing it. Trigger means the trigger is getting connected to in where it is subscribing messages from universal messaging. So once it subscribes it has to acknowledge back to the universal messaging to delete that message or to keep to delete that message so that processing has been completed. So there are three ways I can acknowledge it. Auto acknowledge means that the moment trigger has fetch the document, it will auto acknowledge. It will not wait for my subscription service completion. So it is success, failure, doesn't matter. It will just acknowledge and my message has been deleted from universal messaging. Client acknowledge means my trigger has fetched the document. It has given to the subscription service and subscription service has successfully processed it and it is success, and then it has trigger will send the acknowledgement to the to delete the document. Dupe OK acknowledgement is if my duplicate check is enabled, then it will say that if there is duplicate is identified, it will say that it is a duplicate message, and it will keep it it will then send back that it is a dupes OK, and it will mark it as duplicate message. Mostly this is an internal acknowledgement for internal system. Whenever we use active passive, this is not needed. Dupes OK is not needed. In active, when there are more number of active nodes, means more than 5 or 6. So this scenario comes into picture, because in active scenario, what happens, even if one message comes, that message will get synchronized across all the instance of So if we have more instances in in active scenario, that means it is performance will get impacted, because the sync up will happen across all the system and it takes time. So the minimal, that is the 3 is the minimal thing which we suggest that we should be using that.
Okay, so for the subscriber client acknowledgement.
Yep.
We need to use acknowledge call or just if it is processed without any fault or through exception, it will consider it as processed successful, or I have to acknowledge manually or through an exception enforce it to be the. How can I make this acknowledgement?
Okay.
Because sometimes it is related to business. Maybe I will not receive this because it is the time it is not started or whatever. But it is not, especially if it is a technical error and there's an exception happening.
Yep, I will go back to our add number service. Yep. I'll just do this. So whenever we write any service, means that subscription service, if it is written in this way, let's say this is a web service call and I have received some exception. But what is happening is the moment exception comes, it will go to my catch block, because if you see my parent is configured as exit on success.
Right.
So that means exception came and I have captured the exception and I've handled the exception. In this scenario, my flow service is successful.
Yes.
That means if this works, my client acknowledgement will get a success acknowledgement and it will send to to delete the document. So there is, if I have not catched the exception, let's say I have disabled this, or I have written the whole flow service outside and I'm not catching it at all.
Yeah.
That means my flow service in error state. And at that time, it will not send the acknowledgement back to So that is automatic. But the flow service state defines success or failure. If I'm catching any exception, means flow service is successful.
Okay.
So that is how the signal goes through. So it is the flow service state is taken.
So, but I cannot raise acknowledgement that the service is failed, because sometimes it is the failing build based on business, not in the an error.
Correct. So that is a payload exception. So in payload, what is happening is means we are just populating a field and giving back as a response. This is not a exception for my system to work upon it. It is my payload to handle the response message accordingly, and same way my response payload will be populated and shown to the consumer. There is no system failure has happened or platform failure has happened in this scenario when there is a business error.
Okay. Right. The second question here, the universal messaging component in the platform, it can provided an external endpoint for anyone can consume or can listen to a queue direct without any flow service, without any integration services. Right?
Yes, that is also possible. Yeah. So for
Because
that,
it can work independent without the workflows, nothing. But this is a extra additional or in services, predefined services. It can handle the universal messaging. Otherwise, you need to make your customized code with the .NET, Java, whatever, to connect and consume these queues or generating these queues from the universal messaging, right?
correct. So for that, there is a jar files which is available with the universal messaging. So we provide that jar files. Those methods are defined there. So any consuming, be it Java or C++, those they can consume that and write a code on top of it.
Okay. Did you know it is supported directly from the native, like supported native connection from the Oracle, from SQL?
Means anywhere where JMS is supported, it can connect to it. Any system which can connect to any JNDA provider, they can connect to it. So
Okay.
Oracle supports JMS. So Oracle means directly can connect to universal messaging. So we have implementation in that. So because right now, if you see, Oracle also came up with their REST services, SOAP messages, where they can expose their tables directly, and they can expose their table via means they can run an API and publish it to a queue or a topic.
Okay.
So So I'm just going through the slides because shown it earlier. It is just around what is JMS. So these are the providers we also support. Means apart from universal messaging, we can also connect to these JMS providers. I mean, Software AG universal messaging is also one of the provider, and others also we can connect. So Oracle Streams, Advanced Queuing, AQ, we can connect. Here, as I mentioned, native is queue based. In JMS, I have both queue and topic. Both can be used. Topic for multiple subscriber, queue is for single subscriber. This scenario, we have seen it. We have published to one topic, subscribed by 2 subscription trigger. And we have also made a durable subscriber to store it in that durable subscriber. So that gives a guaranteed delivery in JMS way of messaging. This is about durable and non-durable subscribers. We have seen the guaranteed storage will come with durable subscribers. Queue the same way, point-to-point connectivity. Means here anything means how I have created the topic. Same way we have to just create the queue and we can work on that. So in JNDI, we have to just click on universal, come to JNDI, create a queue. And it will create a queue. Take some time. Yep. So a queue got created. And here it's a queue. And how we have used send JMS message. Here I have to just give this name and destination type will be queue and name of the queue. And connection, I guess we can keep it same.
Are we able to make this subscribers dynamic to the queue or the topic? Like we have two systems listening to a specific topic, subscribed to a specific topic. Now we have another subscriber. Okay. And it should be also durable queues or durable subscriber or trigger is durable queue.
Queue is
You
always
define
queue is always guaranteed. Only topic we have a volatile and means non-durable and durable. Queue always keep the data because it's a point-to-point connectivity. And you are looking for programmatically how we can create a subscriber and delete a subscriber?
Yes, based on a set of setting or something like this.
So programmatically, I think there are.
I saw something related to in GMS.
So there are a few APIs which are already been exposed. So in program, we can just write down, create a subscriber, and then I will just. So here. So we can programmatically, based on need, we can come and create a consumer, receive a message, then acknowledge back the message. So if there is a need, means I'm not getting a scenario when
actually we currently have one in MWE, but we're using EuropeMQ, probably created this
queues and subscribers, but yes, I believe it is
Yep.
applicable if they have APIs related to like this.
Correct. So mostly what these are permanent, means a admin guy is coming and creating and it stays here. The scenario which we are talking about, it will like based on need, we come create a subscriber. Once processing done, remove the subscriber and go back. It is like in Azure serverless processing kind functions processing. We just based on any event, we create the subscriber and then once we have processed it, delete everything and come out. So that is the way it will be. But it is again, it will come create a consumer in this area. We will receive the message, process it, and then delete it and go back. So that's how it will be. So this point to point, this is the place how to create queues and topic. This is the JNDI setting and JMS LES setting. There is one property which is here in the bottom. If you see, enable destination management with designer. If we enable this in the connection, so whatever changes we are doing it in designer, it will get synced up. If we are not enabling this, it will not sync up. So we have to manually change any settings in the universal messaging. So mostly we always go with this. In production, we used to disable it so that nobody can change anything in production if they are connecting via designer. So these are the APIs which are available in WM Public. Subscribing. Also subscribing, I have, I think. Okay, I have not done in the means JMS message. I have just dragged and drop, but here also we have a trigger spec. So trigger spec should be used when we are using any subscriber. Trigger spec, if I use it, place the document, that's fine. So it is the same document. So what I have done, I have just copy pasted the JMS, but always we should have in the subscription using the specification reference. That is this is the trigger specification, what it is talking about. Another thing, I'll open both the triggers. So we'll see. I will first talk about JMS. So we have a local filter and a JMS message selector. JMS message selector, it is normal how in JNDI world it works. It is, we can put a filter here. So if that filter satisfies, that message stays in the your topic. If that message doesn't satisfy, it will get discarded. But that selection or filtering happens in at the provider level or universal messaging level. Another filter is local filter. Local filter means it will work at integration server level. So here, if I put a filter, that means message, whatever request came in, it will stay in the topic. Once it is subscribed by the trigger, then only that filter will work and check that if this is a valid document or not. And then it will discard or keep the document. And same way, this is our JMS. I will show you in messaging trigger. So here also I have a filter which will work at an integration server level. Another filter, it is work on universal messaging level. So you might be thinking that how this filters will be working. It is just like our, if I go to there is my subscription. I can take that this ID is equal to 1. So this is just like that. If we put it, this filter will check for this condition, if this is valid or not, and then it will subscribe it or not subscribe it. So only main difference we should remember is where we want to apply the filter, at provider level or at subscription level. If in JMS world, if you put anything in this provider level, means only thing it is like who is going to process it. Do you want my universal messaging to start discarding all the messages, or we want to subscribe it and then decide to discard it? I mean, this is same way how we can test. Like earlier we have seen publish document, here publish as JMS message. Snoop, I have already shown in one of things. In Enterprise Manager, we can enable Snoop, not here. Here I can start the Snoop, nothing is there. If I start it, which one I did it? Send. This has been published. And that message came here and we can view that. So this is to check my is getting a message or not. Those kind of things which we can track it. And this is which I have shown while publishing. We have to give alias name, destination name, and destination type, which will be topic or queue. Yeah. I think this is all about messaging. Any questions on messaging? If not, then what we will do, we will take a 15 or 20 minutes break, and then we'll come back and finish our another topic around caching. Is it fine?
It's fine.
Yep. So if everyone can raise their hands, I will also raise my hand. And I will start the timers. Yep. So our break is started. We will come back in 20 minutes. I'm back. Yep, I think everyone are here, so I think we can start. So we have completed the messaging, and we will get into the next topic, that is caching. There are few capabilities which is provided by integration server, which we can use it. So mostly how caching works. So whenever we have any service, if it is in cached, is enabled. So first time when it runs, it captures the cache, and it goes through each and every internal sub-services, and response comes back, and that gets into the cache. Next time any call happens, the parent service will be called, but sub-services will not be called. So that is how the caching is used. So I will first is show you. The tabs. So this is one dummy service which I have created, where I have defined the input and output. And under that, I have called our multiply number, one of the service which we have created earlier. So if I make this cache results true, so it will start caching the results. So that means it will take the input output parameter and save this as a key value pair inside the cache manager. So we'll come to the cache manager how it is, but I will first give you a demo how it works. So let's say now cache result is true. Expired time I have given 15 minutes. And if I call this service, so also we will keep a track of how many times the service is getting executed. To view how many times the service is executed, there is a section here in server service usage. So there are two services which we will keep track of. This is the servcache, that is the parent service, and the multiply number. So this is till now been executed 20 times, and multiply number has been executed 5 times. So now if I go and invoke that service through a browser. Here's the browser only. So this is the service which I am calling. Okay, this looks like it has moved to another place. Let me copy the right So it is now giving, I have given it 2 and 5 and it has retrieved the data. Now, if I go and check the service usage, first time it has executed. Okay. Okay, this is the server cache. So, okay. Just to again show you the right paths. My serve cache is under cache folder. So that is the one. This is the one. This is first time got executed. And my multiply number got increased by 1. Now this is 1 and 6. If I execute that service again, I receive the response. Serve cache got hit by one more thing, but multiply number not increased. If I hit one more time, this service cache has increased by one more time, but multiply number is not invoking. That means we are getting all the responses from the cache. And we can see these are the services which are in cache, and it will also tell us how many times the hits are happening. So 2 times the cache is hit. First time when I have done it, cache was not hit because there was no data. And next 2 times the cache was hit and results came from the cache. So this is one way of caching the data in our services. So where exactly this gets stored? So if you come to our settings, caching, yep. So there are 2 types of cache manager which integration server provides. One is private cache manager, which is inbuilt feature of integration server. So by changing the property, I am able to cache services. So this is the place where the cache are getting stored. So the settings, what it is, these are the default settings, which talks about the cache name. It is this maximum number of elements which it will store is 1000. Eternal means it will not expire the cache unless there is an expiry given. So in our service, we are given the expiry. So it will expire only after 15 minutes. In between, the cache will not be lost. It will be kept as is. And other properties means if it is not there, eternal it is not there, we can mention the time to live. Any cache stays in this, it will stay for that many seconds and it will get deleted from the cache. One property is about distributed. So distributed means that let's say I have multiple instances of integration server is running. They are in cluster and my one of the server executed first. One of the IaaS server where the service exists, it executed first so that it will go and keep that data inside the cache. Now next request comes, but it hits the second server. If distributed is checked, it will go and retrieve the data from the first server and show it from the cache. So this distributed only comes when we configure Terracotta and there is a specific license which we need to get it, and then only this gets enabled. Another thing, distributed caching is not allowed in our system cache managers. So these system cache managers is not allowed. If we want to make any cache manager as a distributed cache, we need to create public cache managers. So that is the one difference between a system cache manager and public cache manager. System cache managers are mostly used by internal functions of our integration server. They use it, the product uses it. So that is the reason we are not allowed to change anything there. If we want to make any changes, we can add public cache managers and work on it. So first I will show you there are some APIs which are available with system cache manager. Let's say I'll cache. So these are some APIs which is available for service results cache management. So I can add a cache entry and I can retrieve it. Let's run this. I give int 110 and int. Did I deleted that? Yeah. 110. Int 2, say 5, and output I can give it some 56. It was 5 and 2. If there are multiple entries, I made it. Delete. I think we need 2 entries now. Yeah. 10, 5. Oh, okay. Okay, I made a mistake. I'm telling for which service that cache entry should be there. Input is already defined, 10, 5. Output is something 56. So this cache entry got added. So if I now go to my page and invoke 10, 5. So 56 is coming. So whatever I have made entry, it never went inside the service or executed. It fetched the value from the cache and showed it. So this is at a service level when we are doing it. And let's say if I want to create a public cache. So if there are any requirements, I will tell you a scenario like there are a lot of config parameters which we have, and we want to keep that, means it can be in a config file which we can load it to cache. Let's say there are cross-reference data available in our database, which are static values which is needed for every processing. What we do is we read that once and try to keep in cache so that every service when it is running, we can use those data from the cache. So in that scenario, what we can do is we can come here, create a public cache. So I created this public cache, just you have to do a add cache manager, give a name. If we have Terracotta, we can give a Terracotta server URL arrays. It will then store the cache in the Terracotta. If we don't provide that, it will store the cache in memory. So well, that is how it is. And then once we have created the cache manager, we can add a cache that is called employee, and that will be used for our caching purpose. Now, once we have created this, come to designer. So we have, okay, so I will show you some APIs which is already available here. Put, which will put the data key value pair in the cache. We have get to retrieve the data. We have put all if we have multiple elements, repeating elements, which we want to keep it with the single API, we can put it and we can get all the cache values, and remove all. So these are the APIs which can be used. So I will just disable this tab. Okay. So when we are using this put, it takes what is the cache manager name, what is the cache name. So let's say you have multiple things you need to store. So what you can do is you can add as many as caches here. Let's say employee details, you are keeping it, or then location or currency code, country code. So I can create that many and write a logic to load this cache. So loading this, it is just call this put or put all if you have multiple entries. Mention which cache manager and which cache and what is the key value pair. So I have given a key here, parameter 1 and some value. So I can change the value 4 parameter 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, fine. So once I run this, so it has stored that cache into the data into the cache manager. So now to retrieve that in your logic, any code which you have written it and you want to retrieve that data, you have to just call our cache.get. So in this cache.get, what we have to provide, only the key we have to provide and from which cache we are retrieving it. I have given the same cache manager and cache name. So if I run this now, so it will retrieve the value which you can which we can use it in respective places. So this is the public cache. And in public cache, as I mentioned earlier, this is where the Terracotta URL you can give. Yeah, under this. Yep. Here I can customize things like maximum number of elements. I can go up to 5000 based on whatever the memory settings we have, we can do it. If memory is a constraint, I can check this box, use our big memory, that is Terracotta. Click this, it will start storing in the off heap. And it will keep only 500, but all others, whatever is getting into cache, it will start keeping in the other heap. I can make this as a distributed cache, but a specific license is needed so that it is shared across the environment. So this is how the cache works. So mostly this is used in our, let's say, loading config values, loading cross-reference values. If there is a connectivity, means in CRM-based system where the employee data we are consuming, we can connect to those, and means we can start caching that based on frequently used employee data. But there again a sync up thing which we need to think about, how much time the data discrepancy cannot happen. Let's say whatever data we have cached it should always match with my source of truth. So that is we need to think about, and then load it into cache, and then we can retrieve it. Anytime it is 1000 times more performant, efficient than having a direct call to the target system to retrieve the data. So caching is very well needed for technical purpose. Config and cross-reference data always should be cached, and business related stuff we need to have a discussion with business team and cache it wherever it is possible. So this is the overall thing. I will just go through the slides. So this is the service result cache, where in our property we have changed the cache results to true and expiry time which we have given. So this speaks about that if Terracotta is there, it will use that Terracotta to keep the data. Otherwise, memory will be used. We have a different cache managers, public and system. Cache managers, we cannot edit it. Only the number of elements which can be stored in the thing in the cache we can edit. No other property we can change it. Mostly related to distributed caching and all. That can be done only via public cache manager. So this is the default setting which is being shown. So default is 1000, can be changed. And we cannot change it, cannot change the distributed cache in system cache manager. Eternal, that elements are the cache do not expire. And time to live and time to idle, we don't give it when we have made it eternal. Distributed only in public cache managers we can keep it. So I've also shown you that how cache hits and total count the percentage of things which we can see it in the admin page in the service usage. So for service cache manager, so these are the APIs that add cache entry, which we have used it in C. We have reset cache where we can just reset, clear everything. List service cache, whatever is listed, it will show it. And these are the properties. If let's say I want to store my service cache result into a separate cache manager, let it be a public cache manager. So these are the extended properties where I can change the values. It will start storing in the public cache manager. Yeah. I think that's it in the cache manager. Caching means these are the out of the box features provided by the integration server in the caching. I think I have covered the caching part. Means I have also told which all scenarios we can use this caching. Any questions in caching?
What about the secrets if we need to keep cached secrets inside the integration server? Like back-end passwords or
yep. If it is,
yeah.
it has to be already encrypted and then stored here, and we can retrieve it and decrypt and use it. So it means while pushing it, it has to be already encrypted when we have to push that data.
Encrypted where? Any
In means the logic where we will write the put all or put service. So before that, we have to write that if it is a password thing, just encrypt and then put it inside. So we might be reading it from some config file, or if it is already in encrypted format, we just keep that. If it is mentioned in a plain text, then encrypt it and keep it inside the cache.
No, I didn't get this, but I think there is a place inside this in software regime that allow you us as as administration to keep keys and mark it as it is secure.
So
How
that is the global variable. So global variable also uses cache. So here, if I add it and any key or value, I can make it as is password, and this is in secured mode. I can directly use this value.
okay.
So
So if I mention this variable direct from the using this percentage, it will automatically detect this is a secure password and it will retrieve the value directly.
yes.
So,
So it will directly retrieve it and take it from there.
Mr. Carr, regarding the clearing the cache, is there any function that can I make it clear the cache from time to time intervally?
Okay, so if we have made cache manager as eternal, where we are saying that do not delete anything, but if we want to clear it, so we have this remove all. It will remove it. If it is a server cache, you just run the reset server cache. It will remove all the cache entries. Reset service cache means only for that service, remove all the cache. So that is one way of doing it. Another is cache expire. So every 15 minutes, it will expire the cache. But now what has happened? Your cache manager is empty. If I run the service, it will again go call my sub services and then store it in the cache. Another thing which you can do is prefetch. Prefetch means if I make this as true, it will 15th minute, it will go and run the service again with the same input parameters and fetch that and keep that in the cache. So this is like prefetch true 15 and cache result true means every 15th minute it is refreshing your cache.
Thank you, Mr. Carl.
And there is also a prefetch activation. Here we will tell that you only do the prefetch when the previous cache has been hit, or let's say here it is one, it is written at least one time. If it has hit, then only you prefetch. If not, means I will, one is the wrong number, I will tell, let's say 5 times. It should at least hit 5 times, then only you should go and prefetch the cache. If my previous result is not hit 5 times, it is, let's say, only 2 times it hit, my prefetch will not work. Prefetch will not go and fetch the cache and keep it. It will not populate the cache. So prefetch, you can use it in that way also. That if it is a very active thing only, use it and prefetch it and keep it. If it is a very rarely used service, don't fetch it and keep it. So these are APIs, means if you see, it is only put get these things are there. On top of it, a framework can be built, like a cache manager, what kind of data you want to keep it. You build that framework and then use in our in your normal logics or any flow services or services what we are writing it. Because we need to get the data from source of truth, read it, format it into a key value pair, and then push into cache. Now your normal services which you are writing, it will just do a get kind of thing. Let's say when I am doing a get, I didn't find the cache entry. My service should not fail at that time. So there should be a logic written that if cache is not there, we should go call the service, actual service, and put the data again. So that is how it should be written when we are using the cache. And means I've also spoken about if Terracotta is there, memory can be handled easily. If Terracotta or big memory is not configured, this all cache is going into our integration server memory. So it is consuming memory from the server. Any other questions?
Mr. Carr, regarding the logs or logging system, is there any feature that I can expose a reports from the logging system, and can I just decide the interval or where is it located?
Means
I know it's that we have to speaking about it maybe yesterday or before yesterday, but I have these questions
So let's say you are speaking about this logs
Yeah.
and you want to find out where this is being written in the backend system.
Yeah, and can I expose it to Excel sheet report or?
Excel sheet export, I don't think so. We have that. Let me see this.
As you know, sometimes we need a report counting the transactions, also how many failed transactions we have faced يعني.
Okay, so business means there are two ways to look into this. Technical service execution it doesn't mean that it is successful in business term or it is an error in business term. So service can run successfully, but it might be a business error. So from these logs, unless we have done, written some debug logs respectively in our code and logic, it will come and write it here. And this is written in a file system. From file system, means this is exactly what it is here. It will be in the file system. On top of it, we can have some Splunk kind of thing which can come and read a pattern and give you a report. But out of the box, this is only a file which will come out. And this file, you can get it a specific location. So here, these are the files which is getting written, and what we are seeing is the server log.
So from operation point of view, sometimes the management asks about the reports, about the transactions. How can we expose it by readable format or business format so we can send it to them?
Okay. So, okay, from ESB perspective, if the services are written in means has a proper naming convention, we can tell that from service usage. How many services is been there and it is getting executed. But this will not give you a business view for it. In let's say in API gateway, when you are doing it, the APIs are business view of our services. If you see whatever APIs we have called, and there is a transaction analysis monitoring page in API gateway, where you can see how many APIs has been called, how many has been success, and how many has been error out. What is the means response time for each? So it will give you a graphical view in the API gateway.
So
Another,
the dashboard, it will be in API gateway.
because I'm coming from business point of view, business will only speak about the APIs which has been exposed to exposed for some specific business problem. So that is the reason API gateway gives you one dashboard. Another thing is, let's say I have these many services, and I will tell that this service cache is my parent service, or add number is my parent service. I can only enable audit for add numbers. I will not enable audit, that service audit, if you remember, which will go to our MWS. So if I have enabled only for add numbers, that data will get inside my MWS screen. inside MWS, and from that you can have a report. That is my Yep, I have already enabled it. Error and success. I have done this. Yep. So if you see that auditing has been enabled only at the parent service, and that will give me that these are the services being called. This is in completed status. If there is an error, it will tell you that this has been error, and means how much duration it is taking it. So one report you can get it from here, but here the thing is we are asking developers to only enable the auditing for the main business services, which will be understood by our business. Now this has a pros and cons. Con is that pros is that you are getting a report. Con is you are adding a extra auditing layer into your service to get this report. So if this API is already exposed in API Gateway will give you a API analytics page or a transaction analytics page. So that has how many transactions came in, how many got success, got errored out, how much time has been taken by API Gateway, how much time it is taken by the provider system. So those analytic page, you can view it. So you need to decide between both which one you want to use it. So why I'm telling it, API Gateway and ESB, mostly it comes under one operation team. And operation team can decide which report we can take it and show it to business. And this report also should not add a overhead in my runtime. This auditing will add overhead. API Gateway report will not add overhead. There means only if you are not logging message logs, it will not add. Other analytical pages, how many transactions came in, how many got error success, that doesn't add. Hope I have answered you with pros
So
and
the
cons.
best practice will be the auditing will be on the API Gateway.
API Gateway by default it comes there. So transaction analytics, there is a dashboard which is already been there, which you can use it.
Okay, thank you.
Let's say in some scenarios, means always there is not a scenario like everybody will have API Gateway. There is only ESB layer. So this is out of the box. This is the only feature. Auditing needs to be enabled and look into it. So there are some other frameworks are also getting built, like we can use Log4j or something which we can keep it in file and have a Kibana dashboard on top of it. But those are the frameworks which we need to build on top of it. Out of the box, only this will come out.
Okay, Mr. Karim. Are we able to use this outbound passwords to keep secrets for APIs, and how we can manage this from the? Is there any way to manage this through integration server administration page?
Which passwords?
Outbound passwords. Outbound passwords. It is under the security package in the public in the public package. Public package, you will get a security outbound passwords. Security. Outbound passwords. There is a get password, a remove password, set password, update password. And there is a setting in the security section in the integration server that allow you to set up this, not this setup, actually it is configure the password for the file it contains this password, right? This is what I understand. And setting this password
so
I don't
mostly,
know.
Yeah, so mostly where this will get used. So let's say I have a JDBC connection.
Yes.
Adapters, JDBC, and I have a connection defined username password. I have defined it. So this password, first time when I have typed, let's say admin has typed it, it has gone and it has got stored in a file system, but it is in an encrypted way. So I can use those service to view this password, but that is controlled via an extended settings. So where we will say that it cannot be viewed by anyone. So if that setting, I am not remembering the exact setting, but there is one setting which can block that setting. So once we have enabled that, then get password, set password will not work. But if we have given it access to retrieve the password and view it, get set password will work. And we can get and set password for
even because this method get password, it is have a two key and is flag like is internal or flag is internal.
Yeah, is internal means any settings, any password we are setting here. Let's say adapter connection. There are username passwords, which user management username passwords. Those are all internal passwords. So anything in our IS system which we are doing, it will consider that as internal.
Okay, so what about the external one? If I is internal, I mentioned this is false. Where is the other passwords has been saved in the platform, and how can I manage these passwords? I should adding this password through the API also, or is there any way in my web meta servers or integration server to manage this users keys and passwords related to this outbound?
I'm just thinking of a solution. So outbound, it will be external to your enterprise also. Means it cannot be an Active Directory user.
Actually, what when I'm asking about the caching and securing the passwords, because I saw in some deliverable from Nitrogen, I didn't ask him actually related about this, but yani, I thought that from the beginning it's related to the cache, but now I get deep in the package and I found it is reflecting something related to outbound passwords. Because he doing yani in current implementation he tried to do something like load configuration from the file, adding to the cache, and if this keys not exist, he loads this file again and loaded the cache. Some configuration in some keys in the and the configuration in this configuration file, it is a secrets like password of backend or credentials, and it is marked as it is outbound password. Once he receives this value from the file, he automatically get this outbound password using the key. So I don't know it is related. Before I don't know it is related to the cache. I thought it is related to the cache, but now it is not the cache. It is something else. It's like a custom solution to something else. But I don't know where he set up this. But okay, if you get the idea.
Yeah, I got the idea, but I'm not sure what he's doing. So let me talk to Natarajan also, and I will explain what is the scenario, and I think he can explain you that what he is doing.
Yes, I can come back to him to understand this.
Sure.
But okay, maybe this flag is internal, external, and it shouldn't be allowed to retrieve the secrets related to the system, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes I can write a flow that retrieves this information, and it is not shouldn't be allowed.
Correct. So internal thing is controlled via an extended setting. If we make it true, then only we can view that in a flow service, those values. If it make it false, nobody can view it.
Okay. Fine. This is support today, today, right? Yeah. Now we complete the training for today.
Today, yes.
Okay. I need to ask about the central site. Central site and the main purpose to use the central site and how it is how we can control the policies, the flows, applying the SAWA practice and governance according using the central site and the configuration and what inside the central site. Until now, we don't have any scene or any information about the central site and how it will be applied inside the MOE. Also, we know this central site, it should be like the repository for all resources inside the integration. Like I don't know what is the name, but should have.
It takes everything, means WSDL, XSD, services.
Yes.
Everything, and it is means on a high level means it should get covered in the API management training. So on a high level, what Centraside is, it is for developer lifecycle asset lifecycle management. So any asset what we build, we can push it to Centraside as a repository, and in that repository, I can have a flow stating that status of each asset. Let's say I build a service and I have pushed it to Centraside. So it is in my dev status. Based on the approval or review and what happens, we will make it as a test level service. So from API gateway level, if I explain it, when API is getting built, it is a dev API. Then once based on review, it gets approved, go to the next level. It gets into the next level in Centraside and then get pushed to our API gateway, test API gateway. Then again, the workflow is there to move it to production. So that lifecycle management asset lifecycle management, we can do it from Centra side. So there is a workflow, inbuilt workflows been there, and policies been defined, which we can use it. Earlier days, what was happening is whatever API gateway does, like policies and all, were also getting defined inside Centra side. Now they have segregated it. Like API gateway will take all the runtime things definition, and Centra side will only take care about asset lifecycle management. So I'm not sure. Means in API management, I think Centra side is there or not. I have to just check with Yusuf and Natarajan on that. And one more difference I can tell, Centra site is for internal consumers, means within the enterprise, these consumers, if we have to catalog our APIs, we can view it via Centra site. API portal or dev portal is for external consumers. So it is the external facing is our dev portal, internal facing is Centra site for cataloging.
For active transfer and files, FTP, we didn't touch this area. I believe you have flow surface related to upload file and login and logout. You have tasks to copy files from folder to folder. It is related also to ESB. So we didn't touch this area in this training, right?
No, so what parts? It is only about the integration server, what we have touched. If you see anything integration server, we have not touched any other components.
It is related to integration server, right? The files, file management and active transfer gateway, active transfer server.
Okay, so I will tell you that any product in Software AG is mostly built on top of integration server. So
Yes.
in integration server, we have a integration space. That is what we have touched here. So any other capability like BPM, trading networks, managed file transfer, those are separate topics. So because that takes that much time, like API gateway is also built on top of, or API management is also built on top of integration server. So that is the reason there is a separate training for that. So if you have means
I
those
saw
require.
there is a lot of flow surfaces already built in, I believe in WM, some package related to files to login and logout and upload, and you can create a task to move file from folder to folder and trigger something when you upload a file.
Sure. So those are the internal APIs used by Active Transfer Server, ATS. So if you need the training around a MFT as a overall, you just need to inform Yusuf and Natarajan, and they can work on that. So this section, what we have taken is only related to integration, related to flow services, how transformation will work, how connecting to other systems will work with web service REST. So these are the basic integration. So it is an integration essential training. So any other product, if you need it, just inform Yusuf and Natarajan, then they can take care of it.
I have another question. It's of topic of this training, but like the professional certificate. How much does it cost? Is there any practice exam? What is the track?
Okay, I think if you go to learn.
Either for API management, or the professional applies for integration server and also for the gateway. There is no like information about the cost. I always see the cost in Indian currency, so I can't recognize how much is the real cost for the exam. And practice, is there available like practice to get idea how the exam really is?
Yes. So means cost, I can just check it and get back to you how much it will cost in your local currency. Another thing means learn.softwareag.com. If you go there, you will find the basic training, then a core, and then a certificate training. So there are 3 things which you can register it. There are some classes or means in different timings, there will be something you can register in and go through those thing, and they will have the practices as well as the some mock questions and all. Those are available. So that way it will be helpful. And cost, I will just check in. I am also not aware of what is the cost. And another question I will answer that. When you have asked for the certification on a topic, so whatever we have covered in this training, it is the integration professional certification. If you want to give it for API management, there is a separate API management certification. If you want to give it separate for MFT, there is a separate certification on professional certification on that. There is a separate certification. So whatever we have covered, it is a integration professional certification. Software AG integration, I think that is the name.
Okay.
So I can provide you the list of means certifications what are available and which correspond to which kind of course. Means what we have covered, it will the ESB part or which certificate it relates to. And others like MFT, API management, the these are separate courses.
Okay.
Mr. Carr, I have a question regarding the SSL certificate.
Yes.
About the renew the certificates and install it. Can you please show us an example about the renew and install the SSL certificate or TLS?
Okay, so renew, it will means it is like you already have a certificate being configured in the system. Now it has expired and you want to renew it, or you want to replace with the new certificate, right? So what will happen is security. Not the key store. Yeah. So any certificate which you get it, you convert that into key store or a JKS format and you keep it here. So if inside this all my JKS format classes are there, so we have to just go replace the new certificate in this area or new key store in this area. Come here, and I think if it is loaded, if I replace it, reloaded should be there. Reload. If I reload, it will start taking the new certificate, a new key store. But one question you will also get a problem from operation side is, if my certificate is expired, there will not be any alert in this. Only my business service will fail. So right now, I think there is a feature request which they are working on it to find out automatically if any certificate has been expired, how to populate and show it. So that is a request, and development R&D is looking into that.
And how about the install new certificate?
New, it is just key store create, give a alias name, location of the file, and password of that file, and submit. That's it.
So I need to convert the type or the format to JKS.
Correct.
Whatever the kind of encryption.
Yeah, it is only these two format types are there, JKS and PKS12. Just convert to one of them and create that file, keep it in some location, and we can just refer to those locations.
And it will not impact the SSL itself. I mean the encryption itself, right?
No,
when
nothing.
I convert it to JKS.
No. So key store, if you see, key store is like a box. It is a box which we have created with a password. Under that, you are keeping your certificates. So certificates is not changing. So it is the actual your box key store is JKS format. So when you create a key store, that .jks file, what you do first, create a command key tool. If you see in the Java key tool, you first create a key store empty without giving any certificate to it. Once that is created, we then import certificate inside that. So us is certificates get imported there. And while referring to those certificates, if I open this, when I am importing that certificate, I will just give a alias name. That is, let's say I've given a client alias name here. So I will refer that, okay, in this key store, connect to this client. That means your certificate, whatever you have imported, and then work on it. I can import as many certificates under this key store.
How about two-way authentication, Mr. Carr? If I have two-way authentication, is it same case?
Two-way authentication. Okay. So if you have, let me go to. So these are the things when we create a port and what kind of authentication I need, I can provide that. When I am giving username password, this means this is basic authentication. When I am giving request client certificate, that means I can get username password or a certificate from this. If I give required client certificate, only only connections, means whoever is coming with certificates can enter into it. So here we configure these certificates. This is when a consumer is coming with our public key and getting inside. We have given that required certificate. They will come here. Then I will tell that this is the key store, you follow it. For two-way authentication, I also provide a trust store alias where I have to trust the root certificate of my consumer. If that trust store, it's a like DocuSign, EA, Verify, these are our CA certificates. Those trust stores should be here. If that both the trust means signing authority matches, then only it will allow you to get inside. But it happens in port level.
Okay, Mr. Carr, how about the certification path? Sometimes we have root and intermediate and base certificates. So 3 certificates at the same time. How can I see the the certification path for the certificate?
So that is our key store or Java key tool functionality. So what happens is once you have created the key store, you import the certificate based on the path given that. It will be first it will be a part 1, part 2, and then a CA certificate. So based on that, in that path you import it, and it will get stored as a certificate inside this key store. And you give a alias to it, and that alias we refer it in our things. So that is importing a parted certificate inside a key store is not taken care by integration server. That is a Java key tool functionality. Because we don't use the parted, it is like whole certificate will be used, or either the root certificate will be used for authentication and verifying the trust store.
Yeah, but in GSP we have a case that their certificates has root and intermediate and base at the same time. 3 certificates. So in this case, we need. Sorry.
So in that case, we don't means why we create base, intermediary, and CA authority or a root certificate. It is to bring more security to create a certificate itself. So nobody can hack your certificate. It is that level of that is the reason that 3 layers are there. In transactions or when the communication is happening between the 2 systems, that will only check that what is certificate we have and who has signed it. That's it. And we just authenticate each other using those.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So as I mentioned earlier, also the authentication part, ports. Here you can handle it easily. Any other questions? So mostly we have covered the integration essentials training. I think next parts will be taken care by, I think Yusuf and Natarajan will come up with the plan. I'm not sure about the next plan. And I think they will get in touch with you. So whatever I have spoken about for last 4 days, it is mostly the demos we have seen it. But you will get to know more about it once you practice it. Means if you get inside the server, play around with it, that will only make you familiarized with it.
For the slides and materials practice files.
I've already informed Natarajan and Yusuf. I think Natarajan and Yusuf, they will get in touch with you. So yesterday only, because I think we have yesterday we have raised this. So I've informed Natarajan and Yusuf around this.
Okay.
It's only thing I cannot share it. It is only via the account team has to go. Even if I share, it is all encrypted. Means it will not get open. So that is the reason I'm involving them. Anything around the feedback? How did you feel about? Did you get to know anything new, or is it which you are already aware of kind of thing, or how was the training? Just a feedback I was taking it.
Thanks, Mr. Karen, for your training. Actually, yes, it is valuable, but we need a plan to get more about the platform and make hands-on labs inside the training sessions. Maybe we need more time to be practice inside this training. As you know, we already involved in many tasks all the day. You know, it is night now for the. So we expecting actually to do practice even in the morning. We already involved in daily work, so there is no time to experience this activity, and the hands-on labs and exercises in the same session. It will be يعني, great support to move fast in this training or in the platform, you know.
Correct. So just to give you an example, means these trainings when we take for interns or any new to web methods, whatever I have covered, it is a 10-day training for them. So because they are totally new out of college and those kind of things, but they go through, like they will have a session, then some exercise, and then go through it. With experience batches, we get into these kind of training where demo. But I think if we can mention this to Yusuf and Natarajan, I think they can look into if we can add practices, because practices only will make you means it will make you familiarize with the product. I totally agree with your comment.
Yes, agree, Kar. Thank you for your time. It's valuable training, actually. Regarding the practice and exercises, we will set meeting, guys, with our internal team, with you to set the expectation for the exercises and doing a plan or exercises and follow up with you guys. ان شاء الله يوم الاحد محمد بكلمك على اساس نحدد اجتماع هيك سريع على اساس نعرف ايش الاكسبكتيشن وكيف راح نبدا في الاكسرسايزز ان شاء الله.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, then if nothing else, then we can close the training. Means all 4 days we have completed it. So this is the last day. So thank you from my side.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.